Hi, it's Dr. Rowe here. I'm actually on site and in the middle of one of the projects. So you might have seen some of the videos that we've been doing. And I want to just tackle a subject about the stress levels that can happen when people are involved with renovation projects. And having been through this many times over the years, I can tell you at the start when you do it, you're like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? And is this going right? And is this going right? So if you've got pen and paper, there's 3 things that you really need to be good at managing when it comes to projects like this, any sort of renovation actually. The first one is make sure that you have systems for managing the money. Okay, so understanding how to manage the flow of money, meaning how much money is needed initially to start the project, then what is the stage payments of the project. So as you move forward and you're working on the project, what does the builder need? When does the builder need it? And specifically, how much do they need? And get the specific breakdown. So you're not just chucking 20, 30 grand at them or whatever it is in phases. Sorry, didn't want to confuse you there. The camera cut off while I was recording on site there. So I'm going to carry this on whilst I'm back here in the office because I think this is an important subject. So we're talking about the 3 things to help you with managing stress. And I was talking about managing the money, the process of money. So what I was just explaining there whilst on site was, it's really, really important that you are clear on what the stages of payment are. I have known people to actually pay the full amount up front on a project. I've actually spoken to builders that have gone, Ro, you're not going to believe this, but one of my clients just paid me the whole lot of money right before the whole project started. Now, you know, a builder's going to love that. And you might think, great, if I look after the builder up front, they're going to be fine with me. But you don't know where that money's going to go, how it's being allocated. You've got no accountability. You're not seeing sight of invoices, etc., or whatever the structure is for your particular contract. So you chuck the money up front. There's no incentive for them to stay on that project if there are things that need to be sorted out at the end. They go, great, we finished the work, and then you come back, go, oh, hold on a minute. There's that. You do a snag list, which will come to another video. I mean, you find yourself in a situation where you go, blah, 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 and they go, well, you pay me all the money. I'm gone to the next project. So it has to be paid in stages. The key thing for you is, what are the big tranches? So the project you just saw there, one of the next phases for us is getting the roof completely finished, which is slates and the cost of the slates and the roofing there. Parallel to that is the windows that go in. You're looking at about 40 or 50K's worth of windows on that project. Okay, so there's a lot of money there. You go back inside the house, then you've got the finishing of the floors, underfloor heating, floorboards, some fairly chunky invoices. So I need to know when those payments are needed and how that fits into my cash flow forecast, all right? So that's the first thing. And this is where people get stressed. And the reason they get stressed is because, I didn't realize it was going to happen. And they run away and they don't want to face it. Credit blur, which I call it. And you go watch one of my money management type videos. I'm sure you'll see one out there, either whether it's with the Growth Tribes podcast. Actually, if you're watching this right now and you want it about money management, if you go and look up Growth Tribes, www.growthtribes.com, or you look up Growth Tribes podcasts, you will find on there will be a podcast where we talk about money management, and some of the things you need to do with money management on a personal and a business level, and that is directly applicable to something like this. So the flow of money is really important on a project. Don't give too much up too early, but equally if you hold back too much, you're going to frustrate your builder. And that's where stress builds up on both sides of the equation. Okay, so I've got 2 other things that I wrote down when I was on site, and I've kept them with me here. The second thing is time. Managing the time, managing the schedule, making sure that everything, this is the thing that people get frustrated about, is the time. So there's the flow of the money and how that flows, great, but there's also the time. You know, you want to get the project finished by a certain date. Maybe it's a renovation to sell and you want to get it on the market, say, going into the summer. But if there's a delay on that project by, for the sake of argument, 2 months, you might find yourself putting it on the market on the back end of July going into August. Now we're coming back to the end of the school holidays. It might be that the market's a bit slow, or it might be that you started the work in the middle of the summer, hoping to get it on, get it on the market before the end of the summer, but there's a delay of 4, 5, 6 weeks, and suddenly you're thrown into October, November, and the market generally slows down during the winter months. All of a sudden, the project that you thought was going to get sold, cash in the bank, maybe by back end of the year, is now going into the new year. you've got cold, you've got the winter, you've got a slow period, you've got to look after heating the property, you've got to hold the property for mortgage payments if you've done it as a mortgageable product. And so, of course, you've got a lagging effect, and the market doesn't really start to pick up till probably February, March. People start putting their properties in the market. Other people are coming out of Christmas. They want to buy then. If it's a sale, and the exit is to renovate, to sell to the market for profit. And these are things you've got to be thinking about. If, on the other hand, you're looking at putting tenants in, it's kind of similar, because most tenants don't really want to be in the property over the Christmas period. They either want to be before Christmas, or they want to be out and into a new property, maybe New Year, January, February. In terms of that sort of timing period. So you've got to think about that as well. When speak to your letting agents, when's the optimum period to get it on the market, to get it rented? Well, really, Dr. Rowe, you need to have it on the market, say, mid-November for renting, so that we can get somebody in mid-November to end of November. They're in for Christmas. Oh my God, project's been delayed. Looks like it's going to finish in about December the 15th. Letting agent says, well, we can put it on, but unlikely most people are going to want to move then. Probably going to have to wait till the new year. So timing's really important. So you and your builder have got to be clear on what are the milestones. So, if you're doing groundwork, how long does that take? If you have to strip the property out, put a new roof on it, if it's a big renovation, how long does that take? How long before it's roof dry? When can we get in and start to do the first fix? And the preliminary works, and then going into the plastering, second fix, etc. And that's on another video. My point is, the timing is really important. So to manage your stress levels, I can't handle this. If you try and compress everything and you try and rush everything, you're going to get stressed. Much better to have a plan, something written up where stage by stage, whether it's a calendar there, I was just looking at mine, or whether it's a spreadsheet or whatever it is, you have this really structured approach. That's how you relieve the stress on a project like this. You manage the time and you manage the money in such a way that there's no unexpected shocks. No shocks on the time, no shocks on the money. When I say time, it's like, hold on, you didn't tell me it was going to take 4 weeks. I thought it was only going to take a week to do that. I did tell you that, Dr. Rowe. We're putting fresh plaster on, we're going back to bricks, got to dry out. Yeah, but speed it up. I can't do that for you. Yes, you can. You can put blowers on it, and that's a whole other conversation. Well, if I put blowers on it, it's likely going to crack, and it's not had its natural time to dry out. There's a certain amount of time that thickness of plaster or that thickness of screed takes to dry out per millimetre per time period. Try and accelerate it, you could have issues. You can see how this works. So time is the next thing that you've got to manage. You get the time managed properly, and you get the money managed properly. I can start to relax. Well, not entirely, because there is a third component. What's the third component, Dr. Rowe? Well, the third component is people. What do you mean people? Well, people. You're going to have to manage people. Well, surely I've managed the time, I've managed the money, I'm doing really well. Yeah, but you've got to manage the people. You've got to manage the different components, we call them the power team, all the different people that come into the project. Who, when, and where are they needed? So you might have issues like, for example, I spoke to somebody recently that had knotweed on a property, and they were getting panicky. I can't do the property. And I said, well, there are ways to deal with knotweed. And if you do it correctly and you get the right insurances in place, it's okay. Lenders will lend. Again, take advice on this. I haven't done a video on this. Maybe I should do a video on knotweed, actually. Anyway, so what that means is you're going to have to manage anything needed pre the project. Think about this. Who are the people needed before the project starts? Who are the people needed during the project actually going on? And by the way, whilst it's going on, is there another set of people you need to be talking to outside the main project? I'm going to draw this up actually very, very quickly. So what I'm going to say to you is this. You've kind of got this. You've got the inside and the outside, and I've kind of spelt that wrong, but hopefully this makes sense. Right, that's the project. These are all the people associated with the project, and this is outside the project. Who is involved outside? So, caption, notice. Inside the project, who are the people you need to manage? Well, Do you want to manage all the different builders? Do you want to get involved at every level, down to the plasterers, down to the electrician, down to the people doing the plumbing, the underfloor heating if it's there? If you've got bats, the bat people, believe it or not, infestations, bees, wasps. Bees, by the way, be careful. Got to look after them, got to treat them really carefully. Wasps, treated differently in this country, in the United Kingdom. In other words, who do you need to, roofers, you've got of course, got the chippies, the electricians, you name it. There's all these different people. Do you want to manage all of those? Or do you want to have a point between you and those people? Are you a project manager? It might be that you deal directly with a builder who actually manages everybody, or it might be that you deal with a project manager who deals with a builder who then deals with the people below that. So who do you need to manage? And you've got to communicate with impact. Just write that down. Communicate with impact. And if you haven't watched any of my free videos out there on communicating with impact, got to do it. It's all about here. It's all about here. It's how these two communicate outwardly with other people. There are actually 38 components of communication, and those are out there. I think if you go and look at Instagram, you'll see a whole bunch of them there. Start to learn to communicate with impact. You get that right. You communicate with impact with everybody. That's amazing. That's in the project. Now, outside the project, are you selling it? Are you renting it? What about the legals? Are you refinancing it? Are you buying it with cash? Are you dealing with angels? Are you having to finance it with a mortgage? You've got to deal with a mortgage broker. So coming from all angles outside of the actual project are mortgage broker, angels for cash, letting agent if I'm letting it, estate agent if I'm selling it, lawyer up there if there's any legal issues, and it might be I need a separate solicitor for my legals for the buying and the selling, and down here I might have another lawyer for other issues as well, plus anybody else that's around that as well. So there's kind of two lots of people. There's a group of people working on the project and there's a group of people working outside that project. You got to manage them. Oh my gosh, you mean I've got to look at the time, I've got to look at the money, and I've got to look at the people? Yes. And that's why these projects can be stressful. And you know what? If that is not you, and you can't see yourself getting good at just three things, managing money, time, and people, don't do it. But Dr. Rowe, I want to make money. Aha, exactly. So if you want to be an entrepreneur, you've got to master these skills. You've got to grow. That's why I call it the growth process, which is why I refer to growth tribes. Because if you go and have a look at what we do on Growth Tribes, whether it's go and look at the free podcast, there's loads of great stuff there that can help. There's so much content out there in the marketplace that can give you good skills and good tools. Go get yourself educated. Find yourself mentors and coaches, and don't worry about investing in yourself, but learn the relevant skills. There's time management skills, there's money management skills, there's people communication skills. Master those three things around a project and you will start to feel feeling much better, much better. Good. Three things: people, time, money. Get good at managing those and it will manage the stress down. Dr. O signing out. I shall see you on another video.